have Hans van Bergen from the Netherlands. Welcome. Hans is a consultant and teacher. He teaches in the Department of Applied Sciences in Utrecht, the Netherlands.
That's correct.
Wow. So, you claim that learning is often a social activity. So how would you connect that social activity now with the blended learning concept and the debate we opened? We said we'll pursue that debate on what's blended, how to blend, and now social activities within blended learning. I surprised you.
Well, if you have blended learning, we have several models in our approach of blended learning. At first we think...
you have the... just the green button is your way to use your presentation?
Yeah.
Or you haven't got any presentation?
Do you want me to answer your question first,
Yeah,
or shall I
just
start my
wanted to help.
presentation? Whatever you like.
I saw
you're a wonderful. So
Sorry.
when we are talking about blended learning, we are saying, well, you have to. We start with Bloom's taxonomy. There are 6 levels, I think, in Bloom's taxonomy, and the lower levels is something that you can do very well alone, on your own. You have your content, you go online to collect your content and to gain knowledge. Since we are a university for applied sciences, what's necessary is next that the gained knowledge that you have, you put it in a context, and in a professional context, and that you do with your peers or with your so in a group, and that's the social part of it. So you learn from and with your peer students, and then the third level is when you come to the higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy. That is something to do with the professor. And it's all the idea of it all is that you are not working from the knowledge. It's not a curriculum made of knowledge, but it's a curriculum made of questions. And it's about the questions that you ask as a teacher to the students. How will they go and be prepared for deep learning? And that's so the blended learning is something that you cannot learn without having the middle section and have the social connection with your peers, and it's necessary for putting your knowledge into the right context.
Okay.
That's
a very in-depth answer.
But that's
Thank
not,
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to just kind of set you up for maybe finding the connection with what you are going to say today at the same time. So that's why I was a bit. But okay. The floor is yours.
I think I have a presentation. This is...
Shall I come up with another question then?
I thought I sent the presentation, but they will start it up soon. Well, I will start anyway because I know it by heart. I know what's on the slides. I hope. What we think and what I will be talking about is about liberating the students for the society. Immanuel Kant, the philosopher you all know about, had 3 levels of educating people. The first one is what we call civilization. When you are born into this world, you have to learn about the customs in your cultural environment. How do you dress? How do you eat? When do you sleep? Or well, all kinds of. This is weird. It's a bit mixed
Plan
up. But
C.
It's the way it is.
Will do. It's the words that count. Things you have to share with us. So we'll cope with whatever is on screen.
No problem at all. Well, we have the first level is, as I told you, civilization. And that's how do you behave in society. It's very cultural, of course. It's very, it depends very much on how you, in where you live, and what cultures you are. But that's the first thing that you learn in life. And I don't, that's a wrong presentation. Or I see something different here from there. And it's, here it looks a lot better.
Don't worry, they're experimenting.
Okay,
they're trying to help you out. So
I'm sorry. It's this presentation. It's the right one. Yeah. Well, after you have civilized in your society, the next step is to what we call the structuring. Thank you. I lost the word. Structuring your learning. You have to learn how to read, how to do math, how to use on geography, on biology, everything. You have to learn that. And the third step is on liberating the student, and that means when everything you have learned, how can you use that for making your environment or your society develop. The first thing is to stay in your, to survive in your society. That's civilizing. The structuring is necessary for sustaining the society, and the third step, liberating, is for developing the society and innovating society. So that's what what's happening when you learn. And what's very important, we think in Utrecht, is that you go beyond the structuring. Many educational institutions, we are learning about the environment, we are learning all kinds of things, but we do not liberate the student so that he is, we do all kinds of tests and to check if he knows how to read and all the topics, but we do not challenge him to really liberate himself and to become a real student and a real learner in the world. I have no idea where I am in the presentation, but what's very important then is that you have a learning environment where you can be social active. And that social activity and that social behavior you need to learn. And it's important that you have a connection with your peers. What we now in Utrecht have changed is that the normal and the first thing that you do is when you start learning, you have a classroom and there are 20 other students as well, and they all and you learn together, and it's by coincidence who you are learning with. When we are working in our learning environment, communication is very important, so we think social behavior and the bonding is important, so that you can not only learn with people from your class, but students from all the university. And we want to go a step ahead and make that not only the students from your university, not only in the town, but from the whole world. So one of the things that we absolutely have to do, or had to do, is in our learning environment and a digital learning environment, incorporate social media so that you can really connect to everybody in the world and ask about the questions you have and to see how are you behaving elsewhere. So the quality of interaction and the level of social bonding is important when creating the learning environment. And that learning environment is not just a digital learning environment, but a learning environment in total, of course.
So would you consider using Facebook as a blended way of learning or teaching and learning? at the same
well-
time? Because some teachers do use, on the top of what they regularly do, also Facebook as an additional method. Like I know a Norway teacher at university who teaches languages. He uses Facebook as well. I'm just raising a question.
Well, what we do is incorporate the social media into our courses. For instance, if you have a course on the environment, then you can make a hashtag to the Twitter account about the environment. Last year there was well, there is now a big meeting about, international meeting about the environment, and you can just put a hashtag in your course, and everything about what's written on Twitter about this, you can immediately see in your course, on your in your learning environment. On the other hand, when you have a comment on something on the during your course, you can write that comment. You can ask other students to react on that, but it is also possible to directly push that to the internet. So it's not generally not a Facebook page in general, but you are working on a special Facebook page. A lot of students make Facebook groups and are working on that. But for literature, for instance, if you have if you are studying a special author or somebody, you can make a hashtag on that author, and everybody that's in the world twittering about it, you can see in that course. I would love to show it to you, but we do not have, that's not possible here. But if you want to see what I mean, and if I have a live presentation of it, you can always come to the Eureka stand just outside this door, and there I can show it you live. For it's amazing that you, for instance, I did a course and I added hashtag OEB 16, and everything that's twittered here immediately shows up in the learning environment. So that's, the social interactions are very important. It's a bit, okay. When a student communicates with others and he can combine the knowledge with his context, he is prepared for deep learning. For that's very important. We are not doing this just for fun, but we want the students to really learn and to make them really deep learning. So that's why we need the students to communicate with each other, and why we absolutely, it's necessary that they have contact and social contact with their peers, and as broad as possible. This social hub, what we have in our learning environment, it connects teachers and externals and big data and teachers, and make it relevant for everybody. For it's not just that we have for the learners in our course that they can go outside and get information elsewhere, but it also works the other way around, so that everybody, when we have connected a Twitter hashtag to a course, everybody on Twitter can learn from that as well. So it's that social hub what we have, and I'm pretty sure that most of you have read the article of what's next with the LMS from Educal's review last year, where they were talking about next generation digital learning environment. And one of the things there was that they considered a learning environment as a walled garden. And it's a very beautiful garden, but you have to tear down the walls. And what we did in our learning environment is that we really tear down the walls. So it's not only that people can look over the walls, but they can really communicate and walk in and out of the learning environment into the real world, and have a really connection with that. Maybe it was a little bit strange, but
No, okay, we've done it.
I
You
think
see,
I
the
think
presentation
that's
is
very
not
much
essential.
what I wanted to tell you about. I wanted to share with you.
But that's a nice invitation, so everybody can see things you wanted to show.
If you want to see it, what I
After
mean, and
we
that makes it a
finished.
lot more clear.
So-
Please come next to the stand of Eureka's. It's just outside of the door.
Well, that's practical, you see. Great, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.